Hey guys. The series name is What If Naruto x Raven x Blackfire x Harem x Lemon. So let's start the series. The wooden training post had seen better days. Its surface was splintered and gouged, covered in the marks of countless kunai and shuriken. Naruto Uzumaki stood before it, arms burning as he hoisted another heavy bucket of water onto the small platform he balanced on top. The task was simple, boring, and absolutely necessary according to Iruka-sensei. Chakra control. The foundation of every jutsu. The thing Naruto was supposedly worst at. Water sloshed over the side. He growled in frustration. Focus, Naruto! Iruka's voice called from across the training ground. The scarred chunin sat beneath a tree, reviewing academy papers, but his eyes never strayed far from his most troublesome student. A ninja's mind must be as steady as their stance. You're thinking too much again. Thinking too much. That was a joke. Naruto Uzumaki never thought too much. He acted. He shouted. He made grand entrances and even grander mistakes. That was his way. But lately? Lately his mind had become a battlefield he couldn't escape. He set the bucket down and wiped sweat from his forehead, squinting against the afternoon sun. The dreams had started 3 weeks ago. Strange, vivid dreams that left him gasping awake in the early hours, his heart pounding and his skin tingling with an energy that wasn't the fox's. He knew the fox's chakra intimately, that burning, hateful presence that occasionally bled through the seal when he was angry or scared. This was different. This felt like warmth. Like sunlight on his face after a long winter. Like the feeling of eating ramen after 3 days of nothing but stale bread. In the dreams, he stood in impossible places. Floating cities with towers of crystal that caught light from 3 different suns. Battlefields where warriors hurled beams of emerald fire at ships the size of mountains. And always, there was a girl with hair like burning copper and eyes like twin stars. She would turn to him, reach out, and just before their fingers touched. Naruto! He jerked back to reality. Iruka was standing now, hands on his hips. That's the 5th time you've spaced out today. What's going on with you? Nothing. Naruto's response was automatic, defensive. I'm fine, Iruka-sensei. Just tired. Training hard, you know. Gotta get strong for the chunin exams. Iruka studied him for a long moment, those dark eyes seeing too much as always. Finally, he sighed. Fine. Clean up your mess and head home. We'll try again tomorrow. And Naruto? If something really is bothering you, you know you can talk to me, right? The words hit harder than they should have. Naruto nodded, unable to speak past the sudden lump in his throat. He watched Iruka walk away, then began mechanically gathering his scattered kunai. You are loved. The thought came unbidden, and for a terrifying moment, he didn't know if it was his own or the fox's playing tricks on him. But no, the fox never spoke with such gentleness. Such certainty. He shoved the weapons into his pouch and fled the training ground. That night, the dream was stronger than ever. Naruto stood on a cliff of black obsidian that glittered with veins of silver. Before him stretched a city of impossible beauty, spiraling towers that pierced clouds of violet and gold, bridges of pure light connecting floating districts, gardens that bloomed with flowers that seemed to sing. The sky was a deep royal purple, and 2 moons hung overhead like watching eyes. He knew this place. Somehow, impossibly, he knew it. The girl with the fire hair stood at the cliff's edge, her back to him. She was older now, 15, maybe 16, and she wore armor of green and orange that gleamed in the alien light. Before her stood 2 figures wreathed in radiance so bright Naruto couldn't make out their features. A man and a woman, regal and towering, their forms bleeding light like watercolors in rain. The woman reached out and touched the girl's shoulder. The moment skin met skin, a wave of blue energy rippled outward, beautiful, brilliant, alive. It washed over the girl, and she gasped, her own aura flaring to match. And then, impossibly, she turned. Her eyes, green as new leaves, green as the forests of Fire Country, met his across an impossible distance. He saw her lips move. He heard the word not with his ears, but with his very soul. Brother. Naruto shot upright in bed, a scream trapped in his throat. His room was dark, familiar, safe, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was miles away, years away, in a place that existed only in dreams. His chest heaved. His skin prickled with static. And his necklace was warm. He looked down. The orange spiral pendant he'd bought from a street vendor years ago, a cheap trinket, nothing more, was glowing with a soft, internal light. He'd worn it for so long it had become part of him, a comfort object he never questioned. But now, as he watched, the glow pulsed once, twice, in time with his heartbeat. What the hell? He whispered. The light faded. The room returned to darkness. But the warmth remained, settled against his collarbone like a secret waiting to be told. The next morning, Naruto made a decision. He couldn't go to Iruka. He couldn't go to the Hokage. What would he say? Hey, I'm having weird dreams about alien princesses and my cheap necklace is glowing. Any idea what's up? They'd think the fox was finally driving him insane. Instead, he went to the one place he always went when the world became too much, the training grounds far from the village, where no one would bother him. It was a small clearing he'd discovered years ago, hidden behind a waterfall, with a flat rock perfect for sitting and staring at the sky. He sat there now, the necklace warm against his chest, and tried to make sense of everything. The dreams. The girl. The impossible cities. The word that echoed in his skull like a bell that wouldn't stop ringing. Brother. I don't have a brother, he said aloud, just to hear the words. I don't have a sister. I don't have anyone. The admission hurt more than it should have. It was true, of course. The villagers made sure he knew it every single day. Demon brat. Monster. Alone. But if that was true, why did the dream girl's eyes feel more like home than any face in Konoha ever had? Frustration boiled over. He grabbed a kunai from his pouch and hurled it at a nearby tree with all his strength. The throw was wild, angry, and the kunai missed the trunk entirely, burying itself in the ground beyond with a shower of dirt. Damn it! He slammed his fist into the earth. The moment his skin touched the ground, something inside him snapped. Power erupted from his core, not the fox's hateful red chakra, but something entirely different. A brilliant, cerulean blue flame exploded outward in a silent shockwave, consuming everything in a 20-foot radius. The grass didn't just burn, it turned to ash instantly. Small rocks vaporized. The very air crackled with ozone, with power, with light. And then, as quickly as it came, it was gone. Naruto stared at his hands. They were wreathed in dying embers of sapphire fire, but there was no pain. No burning. Only a profound sense of rightness, as if he just remembered how to breathe after years of holding his breath. The energy tingled in his veins, warm and welcoming, nothing like the cold hate of the fox's chakra. He looked around at the circle of ash that surrounded him. At the tree where his kunai had landed, the bark was scorched black 50 feet up. At the sky, which seemed somehow brighter, more vivid. And then a voice spoke in his mind. You felt that. I felt that. Naruto screamed. He actually screamed, scrambling backward, looking wildly around for the source of the voice. There was no one there. Just the clearing, the ash, the silent trees. It was like the warmth of our sun. Like home. Who are you? Where are you? Please answer me. The voice was feminine, musical, touched with an accent he couldn't place and an excitement so pure it was almost painful. It echoed directly in his skull, not heard with ears but felt with consciousness. Who's there? Naruto shouted, spinning in circles. Show yourself! I am here. I think? I do not understand. I can feel you, but I cannot see you. Your energy, it sings to mine. It is Tamaranian. It is of my people. Naruto's legs gave out. He sat down hard in the ash, his heart pounding so violently he thought it might burst. I don't understand. What's a Tamaranian? What's happening to me? A pause. Then softer, you truly do not know. Oh, this is most unexpected. I am sorry. I did not mean to frighten you. My name is Princess Coriandar of Tamarin. On this world, they call me Starfire. I am a hero. I fight beside the Teen Titans. And I think you are my brother. The word hit him like a physical blow. Brother. The same word from his dream. The same impossible connection. I don't have a brother, he whispered, but even as he said it, he knew it was a lie. Something deep in his soul, something ancient and cosmic, was singing in response to her voice. I'm Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. I'm a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village. I'm nobody. You are not nobody, Starfire said firmly. You are Foxfire. You are the lost prince of Tamarin, my twin brother, separated from me during the Great War when we were but infants. Our parents launched you into the cosmos in a hope pod, praying you would survive. And you did. You lived. And now, after all these years, our bond has reawakened. Naruto's hand went to his necklace. It was blazing hot now, the orange spiral pulsing with light. Twin bond. Reawakened. Lost prince. That's crazy, he said. That's absolutely crazy. I'm not a prince. I'm not an alien. I'm just me. Just you, Starfire repeated, and there was such warmth in her voice, such unconditional acceptance, that tears pricked at his eyes. Just you is enough. Just you is my brother. I have searched for you across stars and systems, and now I have found you. We are connected, Foxfire. Nothing will ever separate us again. For a long moment, Naruto couldn't speak. He sat in the circle of ash, in the clearing behind the waterfall, and let the tears fall. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No one had ever wanted him just for being himself. The villagers wanted him gone. The Hokage wanted him controlled. Iruka wanted him to succeed. But this voice, this impossible voice from across dimensions, just wanted him to exist. Why now? He finally managed. Why is this happening now? The twin bond awakens with age and emotional maturity, Starfire explained. It is the way of our people. But also, I think you were ready. Something in your life, something in your heart, opened the door. What happened before you felt my call? Naruto thought about it. The dreams. The loneliness. The desperate need to belong to something, to someone. I was thinking about how alone I am. How I don't have anyone. You have me now, Starfire said simply. You will always have me now. I am your sister, and I will never leave you. That is the promise of the twin bond. Across any distance, through any danger, we will always find each other. For the first time in his life, Naruto Uzumaki believed he was truly loved. They talked for hours. Starfire told him of Tamarin, a proud warrior planet where inhabitants absorbed ultraviolet radiation and converted it into power. She told him of the royal family, of their parents King Mayandar and Queen Lundar, and of their older sister Kamandar. She told him of the invasion, the war, the desperate decision to launch the infant prince into space in a hope pod, praying he would survive to continue the royal line elsewhere. She told him of her own journey, captured by the Gordanians, sold as a slave, freed by her own emerging power, and eventually finding a new home on Earth with the Teen Titans. She spoke of Robin, the stoic leader, of Cyborg, the half-machine tech genius, of Beast Boy, the shape-shifting prankster, and of Raven, the quiet empath with darkness in her soul. And Naruto told her of Konoha, of the fox sealed inside him, of the villagers who hated and feared him, of Iruka, who tried, of the ramen, the pranks, the desperate dream of becoming Hokage so everyone would finally have to acknowledge him. You carry a great burden, Starfire said softly when he finished. A demon inside you, placed there by others. And yet you dream of leadership, of protecting those who hurt you. You are noble, Foxfire. More noble than you know. It's Naruto, he said, but there was no heat in it. I'm still Naruto. I can't just become someone else. Of course not. You are Naruto, my brother, and you are also Foxfire, the prince. Both are true. Both are you. You do not have to choose. He smiled at that, a real smile, the first one in days. You're pretty wise for a princess. I have had much time to think, alone among the stars. But now I am not alone. And neither are you. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Naruto asked the question that had been burning in his mind since this impossible conversation began. Can I meet you? For real, I mean? Not just, whatever this is. The twin bond allows for communication, but physical travel between dimensions is complicated. I do not know if it is possible. But perhaps your ninja abilities could find a way. You spoke of chakra, of techniques that create copies of yourself. Could such a thing reach across the barrier between our worlds? Naruto considered it. The Titan clone technique, he didn't know how to do it yet, didn't even know if it was possible, but the seed of an idea had been planted. His chakra, combined with this new Starfire energy, might be able to do things no ninja had ever done before. I'll find a way, he promised. I always find a way. Believe it! Starfire laughed, and the sound was like bells, like music, like everything good in the universe. I believe you, brother. I believe. As the connection faded and Naruto found himself alone in the darkening clearing, he looked up at the first emerging stars. Somewhere out there, beyond the sky he knew, beyond dimensions he couldn't comprehend, his sister was looking at the same stars and thinking of him. He wasn't alone anymore. He would never be alone again. The walk back to the village was strange. Everything looked the same trees, the same path, the same gates, but Naruto felt fundamentally different. Like someone had handed him a map to a part of himself he never knew existed. The weight of the fox was still there, heavy and hateful in his gut, but now it was joined by something else. Something warm and bright and full of promise. He passed villagers on the street. They gave him the usual looks, fear, disgust, suspicion, but for the first time, it didn't cut as deep. Let them stare. Let them hate. He had a sister now. A real sister, who loved him across dimensions. What did their petty cruelty matter? At the ramen stand, Tucci greeted him with his usual warm smile. Naruto! Late tonight, eh? The usual? Yeah, Naruto said, sliding onto his stool. The usual. And make it double. As he waited for his bowl, he touched the necklace through his shirt. Still warm. Still pulsing gently, like a second heartbeat. A reminder that he was more than he appeared. More than the fox. More than the orphan. More than the failure. He was Naruto Uzumaki, ninja of Konoha. And he was Foxfire, lost prince of Tamarin. Both were true. Both were him. And he was going to make both worlds proud. That night, as he lay in bed waiting for sleep, a final thought echoed through the bond before the connection faded into rest. Good night, brother. Until tomorrow. Good night, star. Sweet dreams. And for the first time in 16 years, Naruto Uzumaki slept peacefully, wrapped in the warm knowledge that somewhere among the stars, someone was dreaming of him too. The days that followed the awakening of the twin bond were the strangest of Naruto's life. Strange because everything had changed, and yet nothing had changed at all. He still woke early for training. He still endured Iruka's lectures about chakra control and tactical thinking. He still ate ramen at Ichiraku's and annoyed the villagers with his loud presence. But underneath it all, beneath the familiar rhythm of his daily life, ran a current of something entirely new: connection. Starfire was always there now, a warm presence in the back of his mind. Not speaking constantly, she was respectful of his need to focus, to be present in his own world, but always present, like a quiet hum just below the threshold of hearing. When things got hard, when some villager muttered demon a little too loudly, or when a training exercise went disastrously wrong, Naruto would reach out and feel her there, and the loneliness that had defined his entire existence would retreat just a little. It was during Iruka's class on trap-making that the full strangeness of their connection truly hit him. The tripwire should be placed at ankle height, Iruka was explaining, demonstrating on a practice dummy. Too high, and an experienced ninja will spot it. Too low, and it won't trigger the mechanism. Precision is everything. Naruto tried to focus, he really did. But suddenly his mind was flooded with images, not his own, but Starfire's. He saw a massive tower shaped like a giant T, saw the sun setting over an ocean that glittered like liquid fire, saw a boy in a black cape and mask standing on a rooftop with his arms crossed, looking intensely dramatic. He is brooding again, Starfire's voice came through, tinged with fond exasperation. Robin broods when he is strategizing. Or when he is thinking of Batgirl. Or when the sun rises. Or sets. Or exists. Naruto snorted loudly, earning a sharp look from Iruka. Something funny, Naruto? No, sensei. Nothing. Just thinking about traps. Very serious traps. Iruka's eyes narrowed, but he continued the lesson. Naruto ducked his head, hiding his grin. Is that your leader? He asked through the bond. The brooding one? Yes. Robin is our leader. He is very skilled, very focused, very emotionally constipated, as Beast Boy says. But he is a good friend. He trusts us with his life. Sounds like my sensei, Naruto thought. Iruka's always on my case, but he's the only adult in the village who ever believed in me. Believed in you? Why would they not believe in you? You are wonderful. The casual certainty in her voice made his chest warm. Long story? Tell you later. Kind of in the middle of something here. Of course, brother. I will be here when you are finished. He returned his attention to Iruka's lesson, but the warmth stayed with him all through class. That afternoon, Naruto sat on the roof of the Hokage monument, looking out over the village. It was his favorite thinking spot, high above the judgmental eyes of the villagers. Below, Konoha bustled with activity, merchants hawking goods, children playing, ninja moving between missions. Normal life. Life that had never included him. It is very beautiful, Starfire observed. He'd learned she could see through his eyes if he let her, could experience his world through their shared senses. So much green. So much life. Tamarin was beautiful too, but in a different way. More purple. More crystal. Less trees. You don't have trees? We had forests of light crystal. They sang when the twin suns rose. I remember father taking me to hear them, when I was very small. Before the war. There was a sadness in her voice that Naruto recognized instantly, the sadness of loss, of longing for something that could never be recovered. He knew that feeling intimately. What happened? He asked gently. To our parents? To Tamarin? A long pause. When Starfire spoke again, her voice was heavier. The Citadel happened. They were, an empire of conquerors. They wanted Tamarin's resources, its strategic position, its people as soldiers. Our parents refused to surrender. So the Citadel brought war. And our parents? They fought. Bravely. Fiercely. But the Citadel's forces were too many. In the final battle, as the palace fell, They launched you into space in a hope pod. A desperate gamble to save our bloodline. I felt you go. The twin bond stretched and stretched until it snapped. I thought you were dead. For years I thought you were dead. Naruto felt her pain through the bond, sharp and raw despite the years. He didn't know what to say. He'd never been good with words, with comfort. But maybe he didn't need words. I'm here now, he thought, pouring as much warmth and certainty into the connection as he could. I'm alive. I'm here. The pain receded, replaced by something softer. Yes. You are. And that is a miracle I will never stop celebrating. They sat in companionable silence for a while, watching the sun descend toward the horizon. Naruto found himself wishing, fiercely, that he could actually see her. Hear her voice with his ears instead of his mind. Sit beside her on some rooftop and watch a sunset together, really together. Perhaps someday, she said softly, catching the edge of his wish. The twin bond has many mysteries. Perhaps physical connection is possible, with time and practice. I'm going to make it possible, Naruto declared. I don't know how yet, but I will. I'm going to meet you, Star. For real. I believe you, brother. I believe. The next few weeks settled into a strange new rhythm. By day, Naruto trained harder than ever, pushing his body to its limits, determined to master both his ninja skills and the newly awakened Starfire energy. By night, he and Starfire talked for hours, sharing their lives, their worlds, their hearts. He learned about the Teen Titans in exhausting detail. Starfire loved them all fiercely, and her descriptions were so vivid Naruto felt like he knew them personally. Robin, she explained, was their leader, brilliant, driven, and utterly incapable of relaxing. He was trained by the great hero Batman, she said, and Naruto could feel her admiration. He carries many burdens. Sometimes I think he forgets he is allowed to be happy. Cyborg was half machine, half human, a genius with technology who could interface with any computer system. He is very funny and very kind. He makes the best pizzas. Pizza is a food from this world that is acceptable, though not as wonderful as your ramen seems to be. Beast Boy was a green shapeshifter who could transform into any animal. He is immature and annoying and he never stops making jokes about my grammar. I love him like a brother. You will like him, I think. You have similar energy. And then there was Raven. Raven was different from the others. Starfire's description of her was careful, layered with respect and concern in equal measure. She is our empath. She feels emotions, hers, ours, everyone's. It is a great gift and a terrible burden. She keeps to herself mostly. Reads strange books. Meditates. Her father is not good. He is a demon called Trigon, and Raven fears becoming like him. A demon? Naruto thought, startled. Like the fox in me? Similar, perhaps. But Raven's father is from another dimension entirely. He wants to conquer, to destroy. Raven carries his blood, his potential, and it terrifies her. She builds walls around her heart to keep him out. Sometimes I worry she builds them so high she will forget how to let anyone in. Naruto thought about that. About walls. About the walls he'd built, loudness as a shield, pranks as a distraction, never letting anyone see how much the villagers' hatred actually hurt. Maybe he understood Raven better than Starfire realized. She sounds lonely, he said. Yes. Very. But she has us. She has the Titans. And now she has you, though she does not know it yet. Me? I've never even met her. You will. I believe this. The bond brought us together across dimensions. It will bring you to us eventually. I can feel it. Naruto wanted to believe her. Wanted it with a fierce intensity that surprised him. A whole team of people who might accept him, not for the fox or the power or the potential, but for himself. It sounded like a dream. It sounded like home. The first attempt to project himself to Jump City happened by accident. Naruto was meditating, something Jiraiya had been trying to drill into him for months, with limited success, when the idea struck him. His chakra and his Starfire energy coexisted inside him now, two rivers flowing side by side. What if he could merge them? What if he could use that merge energy to reach across dimensions, the way his thoughts already did? He focused on Starfire's presence, warm and steady in his mind. He pictured the T-shaped tower she described, the city by the bay, the team of heroes who had become her family. He poured his will, his chakra, his Starfire into the image, pushing, reaching, straining toward her. I want to see you, he thought with everything he had. I want to be there. The world lurched. His vision blurred, doubled, stretched. His body felt like it was being pulled apart at the seams, every cell vibrating with impossible energy. For one terrifying moment, he existed nowhere, not in Konoha, not in Jump City, but in the vast empty spaces between dimensions, a ghost adrift in infinity. And then, With a jarring snap, he was somewhere else. He was standing on a rooftop. The air smelled different here, salt and metal and something chemical he couldn't identify. The sky was dark, but not with the familiar stars of his world. These were different constellations, unfamiliar patterns, a whole new sky. Below him sprawled a city of lights and towers, traffic moving in orderly lines, neon signs flickering in a dozen colors. And across the bay, dominating the skyline, rose a massive T-shaped tower. He'd made it. He was in Jump City. He looked down at his hands. They were solid, or mostly solid. There was a faint shimmer to them, a slight transparency that hadn't been there before. When he held them up to the lights of the city, he could see through them, just a little. A projection. A clone. A piece of himself anchored here while the rest remained in Konoha. Starfire, he called through the bond, his mental voice buzzing with static and excitement. Starfire, I'm here. I'm in your city. Silence. Then a scream of pure joy that nearly knocked him off his feet. Naruto. A streak of green and orange light exploded from the T-shaped tower, rocketing across the bay at impossible speed. Within seconds, Starfire hovered before him, her green eyes wide, her fiery hair dancing in the sea breeze, her face a mixture of disbelief and overwhelming joy. Foxfire? She whispered. Her voice, for the first time, reached his ears instead of his mind. It was exactly as he'd imagined, musical, warm, touched with that strange accent. Before he could respond, she launched herself at him. The hug was like being tackled by a sunbeam. Starfire's arms wrapped around him with surprising strength, pulling him close, and he felt her warmth, her energy, her love pouring through the physical contact in a way the bond could never replicate. She was crying, he realized. Sobbing into his shoulder, her whole body shaking with the force of her emotions. I have you, she gasped between sobs. I have you, brother. After all these years. I have you. Naruto's own eyes were wet. He'd imagined this moment 100 times, but the reality was so much more. The warmth of her. The reality of her. The proof that he wasn't alone, had never been alone, would never be alone again. I'm here, he managed, his voice rough. I'm here, Star. They held each other for a long moment, two siblings reunited across dimensions, across years, across the vast uncaring cosmos. And when they finally pulled apart, grinning at each other through tears, they found they had an audience. 4 figures stood on the rooftop behind Starfire, having landed at some point during the emotional reunion. A boy in a dark cape and mask, arms crossed, watching with sharp, assessing eyes. A girl in a purple cloak, her face hidden in shadow, emanating an aura of quiet power. A hulking figure of metal and flesh, one arm already transforming into some kind of cannon. And a green kid currently shaped like a human but shimmering with the potential to become anything. The Titans. Starfire's team. His sister's family. Star, the metal one said slowly, his cannon powering down. You want to introduce us to your, translucent friend? Starfire laughed, bright and joyful, and grabbed Naruto's hand. Titans! This is Naruto! He is my brother! Foxfire, the lost prince of Tamarin. He has crossed dimensions to find me. 4 sets of eyes fixed on Naruto with varying degrees of shock, suspicion, and curiosity. He suddenly felt very aware of his ghostly appearance, his orange jumpsuit, his complete lack of context for this world. He said brilliantly. Hi. I'm Naruto. Thanks for, taking care of my sister. The boy in the mask, Robin, this had to be Robin, stepped forward. His posture was guarded, his eyes never leaving Naruto's face. Starfire never mentioned a brother. How is this possible? The twin bond, Starfire explained. I told you of it, yes? It connects Tamaranian twins across any distance. Naruto and I were separated as infants, launched into space during the war. I believed him dead. But the bond has reawakened. He is real. He is my brother. Robin studied Naruto for a long moment, and Naruto had the distinct impression he was being evaluated, measured, judged. It reminded him of the way the village elders looked at him, searching for the monster beneath the surface. And you're not really here, Robin said. It wasn't a question. Clone technique, Naruto confirmed. My body's back in my world. This is a projection, I guess. Takes a lot of energy to maintain. Fascinating. This came from the girl in the cloak, Raven, Naruto realized. She had stepped forward, her eyes glowing faintly violet as she studied him. His energy signature is unlike anything I've sensed. Partially Tamaranian, yes, but also something else. Something old. And angry. Naruto flinched. She could sense the fox. There's a demon sealed inside me, he said quietly. A 9-tailed fox. It's complicated. Raven's eyes widened slightly, the first crack in her stoic mask. For a moment, something like understanding flickered across her features. Then the mask was back, and she nodded once. I see. The green kid, Beast Boy, bounced forward, shifting into a small monkey and swinging onto a nearby air conditioning unit. So wait, let me get this straight. Starfire's long-lost brother is a ghost ninja from another dimension with a demon inside him? Dude, that is the most metal thing I've ever heard. Beast Boy. Cyborg groaned. Read the room. What? I'm being supportive. Despite himself, Naruto laughed. The green kid's energy was infectious, reminding him strangely of himself. Loud, impulsive, never quite reading social situations correctly. Yeah. He could work with this. Before anyone could say more, an alarm blared from the tower across the bay. Robin's communicator beeped sharply. Titans, he said, all business now. We've got a situation. Killer Moth is hitting the Jump City Jewelry Exchange. We need to move. The team snapped into action instantly, years of practice evident in their coordinated movements. Starfire grabbed Naruto's hand, pulling him along. You will come, yes? You will fight beside us? Naruto grinned, feeling the familiar thrill of approaching battle. Wouldn't miss it, sis. As they launched into the night sky, the Titans beside him and his sister's hand in his, Naruto Uzumaki, Foxfire, Prince of Tamarin, felt more alive than he ever had before. This was where he belonged. Fighting beside family. Protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. And if his form flickered occasionally, if maintaining this projection took everything he had, he didn't care. He was here. He was with his sister. And he was going to show these Titans exactly what a ninja from Konoha could do. The battle ahead would test him in ways he couldn't imagine. But for now, soaring through an alien sky with family at his side, Naruto was perfectly, completely happy. The jewelry exchange was a mess when they arrived. Killer Moth's signature amber cocoons covered half the block, trapping civilians and police alike. The villain himself hovered above the scene in his ridiculous moth-shaped flying apparatus, laughing as his goons smashed display cases and stuffed jewels into bags. Titans! Robin commanded. Standard formation. Cyborg, take out the goons. Beast Boy, free the civilians. Raven, provide cover. Starfire, Naruto, you're with me on the blimp. Wait, blimp? Naruto stared at the massive moth-shaped aircraft hovering above the building. That's his ride? It's a giant bug. Moth. Beast Boy corrected, shifting into a pterodactyl. Killer Moth. Totally different. Much lamer. Go! Robin shouted, and the team exploded into action. Cyborg charged forward, his sonic cannon blasting goons into walls. Beast Boy swooped down, using his claws to slice through cocoons and free trapped civilians. Raven rose into the air on a platform of dark energy, her eyes glowing as she deflected sticky projectiles fired from the ground. And Naruto, still getting used to his spectral form, followed Robin and Starfire toward the blimp. Can you fight like that? Robin asked, flipping off a ledge and grappling onto the blimp's underside. Watch me. Naruto formed hand signs, pushing chakra through his projection. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Nothing happened. He tried again. Still nothing. Your chakra is different here, Starfire's voice came through the bond. The clone technique may not function the same way in this dimension. Damn it. Naruto landed on the blimp's surface, his feet sinking slightly into the fabric. Okay. New plan. I hit things really hard. Robin shot him a look that clearly said this is my life now and kicked open a hatch, disappearing inside. Starfire followed, her eyes already blazing with green energy. Naruto took a different approach. He focused on the Starfire energy within him, the blue flame that had awakened his heritage. If he couldn't make shadow clones here, maybe he could make something else. He concentrated, pushed, and felt the energy respond. A shimmering figure materialized beside him, not a perfect copy, but a being of pure blue light, vaguely humanoid, radiating warmth and power. It looked at him with featureless face, then nodded once. Okay. Naruto breathed. That works. He and his Starfire clone descended into the blimp. Inside, chaos reigned. Robin was trading blows with Killer Moth himself, his staff moving in controlled, precise arcs against the villain's energy blasts. Starfire was surrounded by half a dozen goons, her Starfire blast sending them flying. But there were too many. For every goon that fell, two more seemed to appear. Naruto's clone charged forward, slamming into a group of thugs with explosive force. Wherever it touched them, blue fire erupted, not burning, but stunning, sending them crumpling to the ground unconscious. Naruto himself engaged another group, his taijutsu supplemented by bursts of starfire that shot from his palms without conscious thought. The battle flowed around them, a chaotic dance of fists and fire and flying bodies. Naruto lost himself in it, in the rhythm of combat, in the joy of fighting beside his sister for the first time. They moved together instinctively, the twin bond making their coordination flawless. When Starfire threw a goon toward him, Naruto was there to catch them with a burst of blue energy. When Naruto was surrounded, Starfire's emerald blasts cleared a path. Finally, only Killer Moth remained. He stood back to back with Robin, the two leaders facing each other down. "You think you've won?" Killer Moth sneered. "This is just the beginning. Kitten wants her jewels, and Kitten always gets what she wants." "Kitten?" Naruto whispered to Starfire. "His daughter. She is most unpleasant." Robin lunged, but Killer Moth was ready. A sticky blast caught Robin's leg, pinning him to the floor. The villain raised his weapon for a final shot. And Naruto's Starfire clone tackled him from behind. The impact sent them both crashing through the blimp's wall, tumbling into the night air. Naruto felt his clone's energy flicker, felt himself losing connection to it, but before it dissolved completely, it punched Killer Moth with everything it had. A massive sphere of blue energy erupted, sending the villain spiraling toward the ground in a trail of smoke. Cyborg was waiting below. He caught Killer Moth in his massive metal arms and slammed him into the pavement. "Gotcha!" On the blimp, Naruto gasped as his clone dissolved, the energy returning to him in a rush. He swayed, suddenly exhausted. Maintaining the projection and a Starfire clone was draining him faster than he'd anticipated. "You okay?" Robin asked, having freed himself from the sticky residue. "Fine," Naruto lied. "Just need a minute." Starfire was at his side instantly, her face worried. "Brother, you are weakening. The strain of being here." "I know." He could feel it now, the tether to his body in Konoha growing thin, his projection starting to flicker more noticeably. "I don't have much time left." They made their way to the ground, where the rest of the Titans were securing the captured villains. Police had arrived, taking the goons into custody. Civilians were being freed from cocoons. The battle was over. Naruto stood with the Titans, his form flickering like a candle in the wind, and for the first time, they all looked at him not as Starfire's mysterious brother, but as a hero. As one of them. "That was impressive," Cyborg admitted. "That blue fire thing? That was new." "Demon Fox plus Alien Princess equals crazy powers." Beast Boy grinned. "I'm calling it now, Naruto's the coolest Titan." "I'm not actually a Titan," Naruto said, but he was smiling. "You fought with us," Robin said quietly. "You protected this city. That makes you a Titan, as far as I'm concerned." Naruto felt his eyes sting. He blinked rapidly, blaming it on the flickering. "Thanks. That means a lot." Starfire hugged him again, fierce and warm. "You will return, yes? You will find a way to come back?" "I promise." He hugged her back with everything he had. "I'll always find a way back to you, Star." His form flickered violently, becoming almost transparent. He felt the pull of his own dimension, his own body, dragging him home. "Tell Raven," he started, looking toward the quiet empath who stood slightly apart from the group. "Tell her I get it. The walls. The demon. Tell her she's not alone." Raven's eyes met his, and for just a moment the mask slipped. She nodded once, a small movement that said more than words ever could. Then Naruto winked out of existence, leaving only a faint shimmer of blue light and the memory of his grin. Back in Konoha, Naruto jolted awake behind the waterfall, gasping like he'd been holding his breath for hours. His body ached. His chakra reserves were completely depleted. He was lying in a puddle of his own sweat, and he'd never been happier in his entire life. "Naruto!" Starfire's voice flooded the bond, buzzing with joy and worry in equal measure. "Are you well? Are you safe? That was amazing. You were amazing." He laughed weakly, staring up at the ceiling of the cave. "I'm fine. Tired, but fine. Did you see me? Did you see that blue clone thing? I made that up on the spot." "It was wonderful." Robin was impressed. "He said you fought well." Robin never says anyone fights well. Naruto's grin could have lit up the entire cave. He'd done it. He'd actually done it. He'd crossed dimensions, fought beside his sister, earned the respect of actual superheroes. For the first time in his life, he felt like he truly belonged somewhere. "I'll come back," he promised. "I don't know how, but I'll figure it out. I'll come back, and I'll meet them all for real. And we'll fight together again." "I know you will, brother. I know." As exhaustion finally claimed him, pulling him into a deep, dreamless sleep, Naruto held on to one thought above all others. He had a family. He had a team. He had a place in the universe. And nothing would ever take that away from him. 3 weeks passed in Konoha like water through a sieve. 3 weeks of training, of missions, of falling into bed exhausted every night only to wake before dawn and do it all over again. But beneath the familiar routine, something had shifted in Naruto Uzumaki. He moved differently now, with more purpose, more confidence. The villagers still muttered when he passed, but their words seemed to bounce off him, unable to penetrate the warm certainty that had taken root in his chest. He had a sister. He had friends in another dimension. He was more than the demon container they saw. The Titan clone technique, as he named it, remained unreliable at best. He tried to project himself to Jump City half a dozen times since that first miraculous success, but only twice had he actually made it. The other attempts ended in failure. The connection simply wouldn't form, leaving him frustrated and exhausted in his own world. Starfire assured him it was normal, that the bond would strengthen with time and practice, but patience had never been Naruto's strong suit. You push too hard, she chided gently during one of their nightly conversations. The bond is like a muscle. It must be exercised, yes, but it also needs rest. You cannot force it. I know. Naruto lay on his rooftop perch, staring at stars that were not his sister's stars. It's just, I want to be there. With you. With the team. I feel more like myself there than I do here sometimes. That is because you are accepted there. You do not have to hide. The words hit closer to home than he wanted to admit. In Konoha, he was the demon Fox's container, a necessary evil tolerated for the village's security. In Jump City, he was Foxfire, Starfire's brother, a hero who had helped save the day. The contrast was stark enough to hurt. I can't leave here, he said finally. This is my home. My dream is here. Becoming Hokage, that still matters to me. Of course it does. And it should. You can be both, Naruto. You can be a ninja and a prince. A Hokage and a Titan. The bond does not require you to choose. It simply gives you more to love. More to love. What a concept. For someone who had spent his entire life with so little love, the sudden abundance was almost overwhelming. The third successful projection happened on a Tuesday afternoon, during a break between D-rank missions. Naruto had been practicing meditation, still not his favorite activity, when he felt the familiar lurch, the stretching of his consciousness across dimensions. When he opened his eyes, he was standing on the roof of Titan's tower, the afternoon sun warm on his face. Star? He called through the bond. I'm here. Naruto. Her joy was a physical warmth in his mind. I am in the common room. Come down. Everyone will be so happy to see you. Finding his way inside the tower was an adventure. The place was massive, full of corridors and rooms that made no sense to someone used to the simple architecture of Konoha. He got lost twice, accidentally walked in on Cyborg in the middle of a maintenance cycle, which was apparently very embarrassing for both of them, and finally located the common room by following the smell of something he didn't recognize but desperately wanted to try. Pizza! Beast Boy announced as Naruto entered, holding up a slice covered in what looked like meat and cheese. Dude, your timing is impeccable. We just ordered. I don't actually have a body here, Naruto pointed out. Can I even eat? Only one way to find out. Beast Boy tossed him a slice. Naruto caught it, and nearly dropped it in surprise. It felt solid in his hands. Warm. Real. He took a tentative bite, and his eyes went wide. This is amazing! Right? Beast Boy grinned, already working on his third slice. Cyborg makes the best pizzas in Jump City. It's his secret weapon. I heard that. Cyborg's voice echoed from the hallway. He appeared moments later, freshly reassembled and looking slightly embarrassed. And for the record, Naruto, what happened earlier? We don't talk about it. Ever. What happened earlier? Raven asked, looking up from her book. She sat in her usual corner, a dark volume open on her lap, her face as impassive as ever. Nothing, Cyborg said firmly. Nothing happened. Pizza? Naruto hid his grin behind another bite. The pizza really was incredible, nothing like ramen, but wonderful in its own way. He made a mental note to ask Cyborg for the recipe someday, even if he had no idea how he'd recreate it in Konoha. Robin entered last, as if on cue, his cape billowing dramatically despite the complete lack of wind. He nodded at Naruto, assessing as always. Glad you made it back. How long can you stay this time? Not sure. Maybe an hour? The connection feels stronger today, but I don't want to push it. Good. Because we have a situation. Robin moved to a holographic display, pulling up images of a girl with brown hair and frightened eyes. This is Terra. She's a runaway with powerful earth manipulation abilities. She's been spotted in Jump City several times over the past few weeks, but she always disappears before anyone can make contact. She's scared, Raven said quietly, her eyes on the image. I can feel it even from here. She's running from something. Or someone. We need to find her, Robin continued. Not just because her powers could be dangerous if she loses control, but because she needs help. She needs friends. She needs a team. Naruto studied the girl's face. There was something familiar in her expression, the wariness, the fear, the desperate hope hidden beneath layers of defense. He'd seen that look in the mirror every day for the first 12 years of his life. I want to help, he said. Robin nodded, as if he'd expected nothing less. Then let's move. Finding Terra proved more difficult than anticipated. Her power allowed her to meld with the earth itself, to sink into the ground and disappear without a trace. For 3 hours, the Titan scoured the city, Cyborg scanning with his sensors, Raven reaching out with her empathy, Starfire and Naruto flying overhead, Beast Boy sniffing around in various animal forms. Nothing. Then, as the sun began to set, Naruto spotted something. Down there! He pointed toward an abandoned construction site, half-finished and overgrown with weeds. In the shadows near the foundation, a small figure huddled against a concrete wall. The Titans descended. As they drew closer, the figure tensed, and the ground beneath them rumbled warningly. Easy, Robin said, holding up his hands. We're not here to hurt you. We're the Teen Titans. We want to help. The girl, Terra, looked up at them with wide, frightened eyes. She couldn't have been more than 14, with dirt on her face and desperation in every line of her body. I didn't do anything wrong. I just want to be left alone. Running alone isn't safe, Cyborg said gently. Especially with powers like yours. Trust me, I know. You don't know anything. Terra's voice cracked. Rocks began to lift from the ground around her, floating in the air like deadly ornaments. You don't know what it's like. Every time I get angry or scared, things happen. People get hurt. I can't control it. Naruto stepped forward, ignoring Robin's warning hand. He moved slowly, carefully, the way he'd approach a wounded animal. I get it, he said quietly. I really do. Terra's eyes fixed on him, suspicious. How could you possibly get it? Because I've got something inside me too. He touched his chest, where the fox's seal lay beneath his skin. A demon. A 9-tailed fox. When I get angry or scared, its chakra leaks out. People have been afraid of me my whole life because of it. The rocks wobbled in the air, Terra's concentration faltering. That's different. Is it? You're scared of hurting people. So am I. You think you're alone because of what's inside you. So did I. For 16 years, I thought I'd never have friends, never have family, never belong anywhere. He smiled, and meant it. Then I found out I have a sister across dimensions. I found a team that accepts me anyway. The fox is still there. It's always going to be there. But that doesn't mean I have to be alone. Terra stared at him for a long moment. The rocks slowly settled back to the ground. I've hurt people, she whispered. Back home. I lost control and people got hurt. I can't go back. I can't face them. Then don't go back, Starfire said, floating forward to join Naruto. Stay here. With us. We can help you learn control. We can be your friends. Your family if you will let us. Terra's eyes filled with tears. She looked at each of them in turn, Robin's steady certainty, Cyborg's warm smile, Beast Boy's encouraging nod, Raven's quiet understanding, Starfire's open affection, and Naruto's knowing gaze. You don't even know me, she said weakly. We know enough, Raven replied. We know you're scared. We know you're running. We know you don't want to hurt anyone. That's more than most people ever show. Something broke in Terra then. The wall she'd built came crashing down, and she crumpled to the ground, sobbing. The Titans surrounded her, not crowding, just present. Just there. Naruto knelt beside her, one ghostly hand on her shoulder. It gets better, he said softly. I promise. It gets better. Getting Terra back to the tower was an adventure. She was exhausted, emotionally and physically, and kept falling asleep mid-sentence. Beast Boy, in elephant form, carried her gently while Cyborg scanned for any devices or trackers. Raven maintained a psychic shield around the group, just in case whoever Terra was running from decided to show up. They made it back without incident. Cyborg showed Terra to a guest room, clean, comfortable, with actual bedsheets instead of concrete floors. She was asleep before her head hit the pillow. In the common room, the Titans debriefed. She's traumatized, Raven said flatly. Her control issues are real, but they're compounded by fear and guilt. She genuinely believes she's a monster. She's not a monster, Beast Boy protested. She's just a kid with powers she can't handle. Like I was before you guys found me. Exactly, Robin nodded. Which means we know how to help her. Training, support, patience. It won't happen overnight, but it can happen. Naruto listened, his form flickering slightly as his time in this dimension grew short. Be patient with her, he said. And don't push. She needs to trust you before she'll let you help her. That takes time. You speak from experience, Raven observed. Yeah, I do, he smiled ruefully. Took me years to trust anyone. And I'm still working on it. Starfire hugged him, warm and fierce. You have done so well, brother. I am so proud of you. He hugged her back, feeling the bond pulse with shared affection. I should go. I'm running low on energy, and I've got a mission tomorrow. B rank. First one. Be careful, Robin said. It was the closest he'd come to expressing concern, and Naruto appreciated it. I will. And hey, keep me updated on Terra, okay? I want to know how she's doing. Of course, Starfire promised. We will tell you everything. Naruto's form flickered more violently, the pull of his own dimension growing stronger. Tell her the fox container believes in her. Maybe that'll help. He winked out, leaving behind a faint shimmer of blue light and the lingering warmth of his presence. The B-rank mission was a disaster. Escorting a merchant through the Valley of Death, dramatic name, but actually just a moderately dangerous pass, should have been routine. Protect the client, watch for bandits, collect payment. Simple. Except the bandits turned out to be missing Nin, 3 of them, each with enough skill to give a chunin trouble. The merchant's cart broke an axle in the middle of the ambush. One of the missing Nin had earth-released jutsu that turned the ground into a churning nightmare. And Naruto, still tired from his dimensional projection the day before, was running on fumes. He fought anyway. He always fought. His shadow clones swarmed the missing Nin, buying time for the merchant to hide. His Rasengan, still imperfect, caught one of them in the shoulder and sent them running. But the earth-release user caught him off guard, and Naruto went down hard, rocks slamming into his ribs, his head, his already exhausted body. When he woke, he was in the hospital. Again. Idiot, a familiar voice said. Naruto turned his head, slowly, because everything hurt, to see Tsunade sitting beside his bed, arms crossed, expression unreadable. You pushed yourself too hard. Your chakra levels were dangerously low before the mission even started. What were you thinking? Wasn't thinking, Naruto admitted. His voice came out as a croak. Was just doing my job. Tsunade studied him for a long moment. She was the 5th Hokage now, the legendary Sannin who had returned to the village and taken charge after the invasion. She was also, inexplicably, someone who seemed to genuinely care about his well-being. There's something different about you, she said quietly. Your chakra. It's changed. There's a new element in it, something I've never seen before. Want to tell me what's going on? Naruto hesitated. The Hokage was the one person in Konoha he should trust with his secrets. But this secret wasn't just his, it was Starfire's too, and the Titan's, and he didn't have the right to share it without thinking through the consequences. I'm figuring some things out, he said finally. About who I am. Where I come from. It's complicated. Tsunade's eyes narrowed, but she didn't push. Fine. Keep your secrets. But if whatever you're figuring out affects this village, I expect to be told. Understood? Understood, Granny Tsunade. Don't call me that. He grinned, then winced as the motion pulled at his injuries. Tsunade snorted, but there was something almost like affection in her expression. Stay off missions for 2 weeks. Rest. Recover. And Naruto? She stood, heading for the door. Whatever you're becoming, make sure it's something you can be proud of. She left before he could respond. You were hurt. Starfire's voice was frantic that night, flooding the bond with worry. I felt it. Your presence dimmed so much I thought I was losing you. I'm okay, he assured her. Just some cracked ribs and a concussion. I've had worse. That is not reassuring. You must be more careful. You cannot fight when you are exhausted. It is foolish and reckless and I cannot lose you again, Naruto. I cannot. Her fear was raw and real, bleeding through the bond with an intensity that made his chest ache. He'd been so focused on the joy of having a sister that he hadn't considered what it would mean for her to worry about him. To fear losing him the way she had when they were infants. I'm sorry, he thought, pouring as much sincerity as he could into the connection. I wasn't thinking. I'll be more careful. I promise. Promise? Promise. Believe it. The fear receded, replaced by something softer. Relief, maybe? Love, definitely. Terra is doing better, she said, changing the subject to something lighter. She woke up confused and frightened, but Raven sat with her. They talked for hours. Raven does not talk for hours with anyone. I think they understand each other. Good. That's good. She asked about you. The ghost boy who understood. She wants to meet you again, when you are well. Naruto smiled in the darkness of his hospital room. Tell her I'd like that. Tell her I'm rooting for her. I will. Rest now, brother. Heal. I will be here when you wake. Thanks, Star. For everything. Always. The 2 weeks of recovery passed slowly. Naruto hated being confined, hated the boredom, hated the way the nurses looked at him with that mixture of fear and obligation. But Starfire's constant presence made it bearable. They talked for hours about everything and nothing, her adventures with the Titans, his memories of the academy, the differences between their worlds, their shared hopes for the future. He learned that Robin had a complicated history with a girl named Batgirl, that Cyborg missed playing football, that Beast Boy's greatest fear was being alone, that Raven read romance novels in secret and would deny it fiercely if ever confronted. He learned that Starfire still had nightmares about the Gordanians who had enslaved her, that she sometimes woke screaming in a language no one else understood, that she found comfort in the simple act of flying above the city at night. And he told her things he never told anyone. About the loneliness of growing up hated. About the desperate need for acknowledgement that drove him to pranks and loudness and reckless behavior. About the fox, and the fear that one day he'd lose control and hurt the few people who actually cared about him. About the dream of Hokage, and the secret fear that he'd never be good enough to achieve it. You are good enough, Starfire said firmly. You are more than good enough. You are my brother, and I know your heart. It is pure and strong and full of love. Anyone who cannot see that is blind. Her certainty was a balm to his wounded soul. When Naruto finally projected back to Jump City, it was to find the tower in chaos. What happened? He asked, appearing in the middle of the common room to find Cyborg frantically typing at a console, Beast Boy pacing in circles, and Raven sitting motionless in her corner with an expression that could curdle milk. Terra happened, Cyborg said grimly. She ran. Took off in the middle of the night. Left a note saying she couldn't stay, couldn't risk hurting us, all that self-sacrificing crap. We've been looking for hours, Beast Boy added. Nothing. It's like she vanished into thin air. With her powers, she basically did, Raven said quietly. She's underground. I can sense her barely, but she's moving too fast for us to pinpoint. Naruto's mind raced. Terra running made sense. He'd done the same thing 100 times in his own life, retreating before anyone could get close enough to reject him. But this was different. This time, she had people who actually wanted her. Who actually cared. She's scared, he said. Scared of what she might do, scared of getting close to people, scared of being hurt. Running is easier than facing that fear. We know why, Cyborg said, frustration bleeding into his voice. The question is where? Where would you go? Raven asked, looking directly at Naruto. If you were her. If you were scared and alone and convinced you were a monster. Where would you hide? Naruto thought about it. Thought about all the places he'd hidden over the years. The training ground behind the waterfall, the rooftops above the village, the ramen stand when Tucci was working late. Places that felt safe. Places that felt like home. The quarry, he said suddenly. The old rock quarry on the edge of town. It's abandoned, lots of earth to manipulate, isolated. If I had her powers, that's where I'd go. Robin was already moving. Titans, move out! They found Terra at the quarry, just as Naruto predicted. She was sitting at the edge of a massive cliff, her legs dangling over nothing, staring at the stars. When the Titans landed behind her, she didn't turn around. Go away, she said quietly. I told you. I can't stay. Bull, Naruto said, stepping forward. Terra tensed, but didn't run. You can't stay because you're scared. That's the only reason. And you know what? Being scared is fine. Everyone's scared. But running doesn't make the fear go away. It just makes you alone. I am alone, Terra whispered. I've always been alone. No. Starfire moved to sit beside her, careful not to touch. You have been alone. That is different. You can choose to stop being alone. We are right here, Terra. We are choosing you. Will you not choose us back? Terra's shoulders shook. A single tear fell, landing on the rock below and making it sizzle slightly. I could hurt you, she said. If I lose control, I could kill you. You could try, Raven said, and there was something almost like humor in her voice. I've been dealing with inner demons my whole life. Literally. You're not that scary. Terra let out a wet laugh, half sob, half surprise. She turned to look at them, really look at them. Robin, steady and certain. Cyborg, warm and encouraging. Beast Boy, trying to look serious and failing adorably. Starfire, open and loving. Raven, understanding in a way that only someone with her own darkness could be. And Naruto, the ghost boy who knew exactly what it was like to be feared for something inside you. You're all crazy, she said. You know that, right? Absolutely. Cyborg agreed. Certifiably insane. Best kind of people to have in your corner. Terra laughed again, and this time it sounded almost real. She looked at Naruto. You said it gets better. Does it? Really? Naruto thought about his life. About the years of loneliness, the years of hatred, the years of desperate grasping for any scrap of acknowledgement. And then he thought about Starfire, about the bond, about the titans who had accepted him without question, about the family he found across dimensions. Yeah, he said, and meant it with his whole heart. It really does. Terra stood up. She was still scared, Naruto could see it in every line of her body, but there was something else now too. Hope, maybe. Or just the willingness to try. Okay, she said quietly. I'll stay. For now. For now is good enough, Robin said. Welcome to the team, Terra. As the Titans surrounded their newest member, guiding her gently toward the tower and the future, Naruto felt his projection flicker. He was running low on time again, but for once, he didn't mind. He'd done what he came to do. You helped her, Starfire thought, warm and proud. You understood her when no one else could. I just recognized myself in her, he replied. That's all. That is everything, brother. That is everything. He winked out, leaving behind the faint shimmer of blue light and the knowledge that, somewhere in another dimension, a scared girl was taking her first steps toward belonging. It was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything. The chunin exams had arrived, and with them, a tension that crackled through Konoha like lightning before a storm. Naruto stood at the entrance of the Forest of Death, flanked by Sakura and Sasuke, and tried to ignore the way his stomach churned. This was it. The moment he'd been working toward for months. The chance to prove himself, to show everyone that the demon brat was more than the monster inside him. But as he looked at the massive gate, at the forbidding trees beyond, he felt something else too. A presence in the back of his mind, warm and steady. You are nervous, Starfire observed. Your emotions are very loud today. Sorry. Big day. Kind of a big deal. Do not apologize. I am honored to share this with you. Whatever happens, brother, I am here. I will always be here. He drew strength from her presence, letting it settle the jittery energy in his limbs. Beside him, Sasuke was his usual stoic self, dark eyes scanning the crowd for threats. Sakura fidgeted nervously, her gaze darting between her two teammates. All right, you three. Kakashi appeared beside them, casual as always, one eye crinkled in what might have been a smile. This is it. The Forest of Death. You'll have 5 days to survive, retrieve a scroll, and make it to the central tower. Trust your training. Trust each other. And for goodness sake, don't die. Comforting as always, sensei. Sakura muttered. That's my job. Kakashi vanished in a swirl of leaves. The gate opened. Teams began to file in. Naruto took a deep breath, felt Starfire's warmth one last time, and stepped into the forest. The first 2 days were chaos. Teams clashed constantly, the forest echoing with explosions, shouted jutsu, and the occasional scream. Naruto's team moved carefully, avoiding unnecessary fights while searching for the scroll they needed, heaven or earth, it didn't matter which, just one of each to complete the set. They found trouble anyway. A team from the Hidden Rain ambushed them on the second night, their leader wielding a strange weapon that sprayed needles coated in paralytic poison. Sasuke went down first, caught off guard while scouting ahead. Sakura froze, her medical training screaming at her to help him, while her survival instincts demanded she run. Naruto didn't freeze. He exploded forward, blue starfire flickering around his fists, and engaged all 3 enemies at once. His movements were faster than they expected, his strikes carrying an energy they couldn't explain. The Rain Leader's needles dissolved when they hit his aura. His water dragon jutsu evaporated on contact with Naruto's flames. What are you? The leader screamed, backing away. I'm the guy who's going to be Hokage! Naruto roared, and slammed a starfire-infused punch into the man's chest. The Rain team retreated, dragging their unconscious leader. Naruto let them go. He had bigger concerns. Sasuke! He ran to his teammate, who was already turning pale from the poison. Sakura was working frantically, her hands glowing green with medical chakra. The poison's spreading too fast, she gasped. I can't stop it. Naruto looked at Sasuke's paling face, at the shallow breaths, at the way his eyes fluttered closed. Something inside him rebelled at the sight. This was his teammate. His rival. His friend. He wasn't going to let him die. He didn't think. He just acted. Blue starfire erupted from his hands, but instead of attacking, he pressed them against Sasuke's chest. The energy flowed into his teammate, warm and bright, and Naruto pushed with everything he had. He didn't know what he was doing, didn't know if it would work, but Starfire's voice in his mind urged him on. Yes. The healing flame. It is a royal gift, Naruto. You are doing it. The poison burned away, consumed by celestial fire. Sasuke's color returned. His eyes flew open, and he gasped, sitting up and staring at Naruto with an expression that was equal parts shock and confusion. What did you do? I don't know. Naruto stared at his hands. The blue fire was gone now, but he could still feel its warmth, its potential. I couldn't let you die. Sasuke looked at him for a long moment. Then, quietly, thanks. It was the closest Sasuke had ever come to expressing genuine gratitude. Naruto grinned, exhausted but triumphant. Don't mention it. Seriously. Never mention it. It'll ruin my reputation. Sakura laughed, the sound bright and relieved in the dark forest. What reputation? The dead last who talks to himself? I don't talk to myself. I talk to. He stopped. He couldn't tell them about Starfire. Not yet. Not here. I talk to imaginary friends. It's cool. Very cool. Sasuke snorted. It was almost a laugh. They made it to the central tower with hours to spare. The tournament bracket was posted the next morning. Naruto scanned the list, looking for his name, and felt his stomach drop when he found it. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Neji Hyuga. The prodigy of the Hyuga clan. The genius who believed in fate, in destiny, in the unchangeable nature of a person's worth. The boy who had looked at Naruto during the preliminaries and seen only a failure. He is the one who hurt you, Starfire observed. I can feel your memory of him. The way he spoke to you. The way he made you feel small. Yeah. That's the one. Then you will show him how wrong he is. You will show him that fate is a lie, that worth is not inherited, that the fire inside you is brighter than any prophecy. Naruto smiled. When did you get so good at pep talks? I have been learning from the best. You, brother. You taught me that believing in someone can change everything. He carried that warmth with him into the arena. The crowd was massive. Every seat in the stadium was filled, civilians and ninja alike packed together to watch the battles. The Hokage sat in her box, expression unreadable. The Kazekage sat beside her, his presence cold even from this distance. And in the stands, Naruto's friends, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Hinata, waved and shouted encouragement. Neji stood across from him, calm and composed, his pale eyes fixed on Naruto with an expression of detached pity. So, Neji said quietly, we meet again. The failure and the genius. How fitting that fate would bring us together. Naruto felt the familiar spike of anger, but this time it was tempered by something else. Certainty. He knew who he was now. He knew where he came from. Neji's words couldn't touch that. Fate, Naruto repeated. You keep talking about fate like it's written in stone. Like people can't change. Like the future is already decided. Because it is. Neji settled into his stance, gentle fists ready. Some are born gifted. Some are born failures. No amount of effort can change that. Then why do we try? Naruto asked. Why do we train? Why do we fight? If everything's already decided, why bother with any of it? Neji didn't answer. He simply attacked. The battle began. Neji was fast. Faster than Naruto remembered, faster than he'd prepared for. His gentle fist style was precise and devastating, each strike aimed at chakra points, each hit shutting down another part of Naruto's system. Within minutes, Naruto could barely move his left arm. His right leg was going numb. His vision was starting to blur. The crowd murmured. They'd seen this before, the prodigy dominating the failure, the genius proving his superiority. Naruto. Starfire's voice was urgent. He is closing your chakra points. You cannot fight like this. I know, he thought back, dodging another strike by inches. I know, I can't. Neji's palm connected with his chest. A final, decisive blow. Naruto's chakra points sealed completely. He collapsed, unable to move, unable to fight, unable to do anything but lie there and stare up at the sky. Neji stood over him, expressionless. This is your fate, Naruto. To lose. To always lose. To never be good enough. Accept it, and your suffering will end. The words should have crushed him. They would have, once. But as Naruto lay there, feeling the cool arena stone beneath his back, he felt something else too. A warmth. A presence. A voice. He is wrong, Starfire said. He is so wrong, Naruto. Your fate is not to lose. Your fate is to be loved. By me. By your friends. By everyone who matters. Get up. Please. Get up. And beneath that warmth, another presence stirred. Red. Angry. Familiar. Little fox, the Kyuubi's voice rumbled, ancient and malevolent. You would let this child defeat you? You carry my power. You carry the starfire of your birthright. And you lie on the ground like a broken toy. Pathetic. Naruto's eyes widened. The fox never spoke to him like this, never with this twisted version of encouragement, this demonic pep talk. I am not giving you my power, the fox continued. You are not worthy of it yet. But that other fire, that blue light, it is yours. Use it. Prove to me that you are worth keeping alive. Starfire's warmth. The fox's challenge. His own desperate refusal to accept defeat. Something inside Naruto snapped. Blue fire erupted from his body, burning through Neji's chakra seals like they were made of paper. He rose to his feet, enveloped in a shimmering sapphire aura, his eyes glowing with celestial light. The crowd gasped. The Hokage leaned forward in her seat. Neji took an involuntary step back. What is this? Neji whispered. Your chakra, it's different. It's not the fox's, it's something else entirely. It's me, Naruto said, and his voice carried a resonance that hadn't been there before. It's always been me. Not the fox. Not the demon. Just me. And I am not defined by your idea of fate. He moved. Neji tried to block, but Naruto was too fast, too strong, too bright. Each punch carried a wave of blue energy that disrupted Neji's gentle fist, that overwhelmed his defenses, that pushed him back step by step. The prodigy fought desperately, but for the first time in his life, he was outmatched. Naruto's final strike connected with Neji's chest, not hard enough to seriously injure, but hard enough to send him flying out of the arena. He crashed into the wall and slumped to the ground, unconscious. Silence. Then the crowd erupted. Naruto stood in the center of the arena, chest heaving, blue fire slowly fading, and for the first time in his life, the cheers weren't for someone else. They were for him. The celebration was cut short. A scream ripped through the arena. Then another. Then 100. Naruto spun, searching for the source, and saw the Kazekage rising from his seat, his form shifting, melting, revealing Orochimaru! The snake Sannin grinned, his golden eyes fixed on the Hokage. Hello, Tsunade. Miss me? Chaos erupted. Sound Ninja dropped from the ceiling, attacking the crowd. Giant snakes burst through the walls. And above it all, Orochimaru raised his hand and summoned a barrier that trapped the Hokage inside with him. Naruto moved without thinking. His body was exhausted, his chakra depleted, but none of that mattered. Tsunade was in danger. His village was in danger. He had to help. Sakura! Get Sasuke out of here! He shouted, spotting his teammates in the chaos. I'm going to help the Hokage! Naruto, wait! But he was already gone, racing toward the barrier, toward the battle, toward the snake who had started all of this. The barrier was impenetrable. Naruto slammed into it again and again, but it wouldn't budge. Inside, he could see Tsunade fighting Orochimaru, could see her struggling, could see her losing. No. No. Naruto. Starfire's voice was calm, steady, a lifeline in the chaos. Your power. The Starfire. Combine it with your chakra. Push through. I can't. I've never. You can. I believe in you. The Titans believe in you. Your friends believe in you. Now believe in yourself. He closed his eyes. Felt the two energies inside him, the familiar swirl of chakra, the newer warmth of Starfire. He pushed them together, forced them to merge, to become one. It hurt. It burned. But he didn't stop. When he opened his eyes, they were blazing gold and blue. He punched the barrier. The impact sent shockwaves through the entire arena. The barrier cracked, splintered, and shattered. Orochimaru spun, golden eyes wide with shock, and found himself facing a boy wreathed in celestial fire. "What are you?" he hissed. "I'm the guy who's going to protect this village," Naruto said. "And you're not welcome here." He attacked. The battle was brief and brutal. Orochimaru was a legend, one of the 3 legendary Sannin, and even with his weakened state and stolen body, he was far beyond anything Naruto could handle. But Naruto didn't need to win. He just needed to buy time. Tsunade used that time. While Orochimaru was distracted by Naruto's relentless assault, she gathered her strength, formed hand signs, and delivered a blow that shattered the snake's defenses and sent him crashing through the arena wall. "You'll pay for this," Orochimaru hissed, retreating into the smoke. "Both of you. This isn't over." Then he was gone. Naruto stood in the ruins of the arena, his starfire flickering and dying, his body screaming for rest. He turned to Tsunade, managed a weak grin. Did I do good, Granny?" Tsunade stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then, slowly, she smiled. "You did good, brat. Now rest." Naruto's eyes rolled back in his head. He collapsed. He woke in darkness. For a terrifying moment, he didn't know where he was. The last thing he remembered was the arena, the battle, Orochimaru's golden eyes. But this wasn't the hospital. This wasn't any place he recognized. Then he felt the bond. "Star? Where am I? What happened?" "You are here," her voice came, warm and relieved. "In Jump City. Your body is still in Konoha, unconscious, but your mind, your spirit, it came here. Fully. For the first time." He looked around. He was standing in Titan's tower, in the common room, solid and real in a way his projections never had been. And standing before him, eyes wide with joy and concern, were the Titans. Starfire, Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and Terra, standing slightly apart but present, watching him with something like hope. "You're really here," Terra said quietly. "For real this time." "Apparently." Naruto looked at his hands. "Solid. Real. I don't know how long I can stay. I don't even know how I got here." "The bond," Raven said, her eyes glowing faintly violet. "It's stronger than we realized. When you pushed yourself past your limits, when you merged your energies, you created a bridge. A permanent one, maybe. Your spirit can cross it freely now, even when your body can't." Naruto absorbed that. Permanent. A bridge between worlds. He could come here whenever he wanted, stay as long as he needed. That's amazing." "It's dangerous," Robin countered, but his voice was thoughtful rather than dismissive. "If your spirit is here, what happens to your body if something attacks it? What happens to you if your body dies?" The questions hung in the air, dark and uncomfortable. Naruto didn't have answers. Neither did anyone else. But Starfire crossed to him and took his hands, her green eyes bright with unshed tears. "We will figure it out. Together. That is what family does." Naruto squeezed her hands and smiled. Together. The next few days were strange and wonderful. Naruto's body remained unconscious in Konoha, tended by Tsunade's best medical ninja, but his spirit lived fully in Jump City. He ate pizza with Cyborg and Beast Boy. He trained with Robin, learning new combat techniques that translated strangely to his physical form. He sat with Raven in comfortable silence, neither of them needing words to understand the other. He flew with Starfire above the city, feeling the wind in his hair and the sun on his face, and the simple joy of being alive. And he spent time with Terra. She was still fragile, still learning to trust, but something about Naruto made it easier. Maybe because he was a ghost, not quite real, not quite permanent. Maybe because he understood fear in a way the others couldn't. Maybe just because he was himself, loud and honest and utterly without pretense. "I used to think I was a monster," she told him one night, sitting on the roof of the tower, watching the stars. "I still do sometimes. When I lose control. When the ground shakes and I can't make it stop." "I know the feeling." Naruto sat beside her, close but not touching. "The fox inside me, sometimes I feel its anger. Its hatred. And I wonder if that's really me. If I'm really that monster, just waiting to come out." "Are you?" He thought about it. About all the times he'd been angry, scared, desperate. About all the times he'd chosen to fight, to protect, to save. About the faces of the people who believed in him, Iruka, Tsunade, Sakura, Sasuke, Starfire, the Titans. "No," he said finally. "I'm not the monster. The monster is just part of me. A part one have to live with. But it doesn't define me. Not anymore." Terra was quiet for a long moment. Then, softly, How did you learn that? How did you learn to separate yourself from the thing inside you? I had help. He smiled, thinking of all the people who had reached out to him over the years. People who believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. People who saw me, not the monster. That made all the difference. Terra looked at him, and for the first time since he'd met her, there was something like peace in her eyes. Maybe I could have that too. Someday. You already do. He gestured toward the tower, where the other Titans were probably doing something ridiculous. They're right in there. Waiting for you. All you have to do is let them in. Terra nodded slowly. I'll try. I can't promise more than that. That's enough. Trying is always enough. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the stars, and for a little while, neither of them felt like monsters at all. On the fifth day, Naruto felt a pull. A tugging at the edges of his consciousness, calling him back to his body. I have to go, he said, finding the Titans in the common room. Something's happening. My body's waking up. Starfire hugged him fiercely. Come back soon, brother. This is your home now too. Never forget that. Wouldn't dream of it. He hugged her back, then nodded to the others. Thanks for everything. For accepting me. For being my family. You're a Titan, Robin said simply. That's what we do. Naruto grinned. Best team ever. Believe it. He closed his eyes, let the pull take him, and woke in a hospital bed in Konoha, Tsunade's face hovering above him. Welcome back, brat. You've been out for a week. A week? Naruto sat up, ignoring the protests of his body. What happened? Is everyone okay? Did we win? Tsunade's expression softened, just slightly. Everyone's fine. The invasion was repelled. Orochimaru is in hiding. And you. She studied him with those sharp eyes. You did something out there. Something I've never seen before. That blue fire, where did it come from? Naruto met her gaze. He was tired of secrets. Tired of hiding. It's a long story, he said. But you deserve to hear it. All of it. Tsunade sat down in a chair beside his bed. I'm not going anywhere. And so Naruto told her. About the dreams. About Starfire. About Tamarin. About the Titans. About the twin bond and the Starfire and the truth of who he really was. When he finished, Tsunade was quiet for a long time. A lost prince, she said finally. From another dimension. With a sister who's an alien superhero. She shook her head. Your life is insane, Naruto. I know. He grinned. Isn't it great? Tsunade snorted, but there was warmth in it. Get some rest. We'll figure out what this means for you, for the village later. For now, just heal. Naruto lay back, exhaustion pulling at him. But before he slept, he reached out through the bond one last time. I'm back, Star. I'm okay. I know, brother. I felt you go. Rest now. I will be here when you wake. Always. Always. He slept, and for the first time in his life, he dreamed not of loneliness or fear, but of family. Of 2 worlds, 2 homes, 2 families who loved him. Of a future where he belonged everywhere. In the weeks that followed, Naruto's life settled into a new rhythm. He trained with renewed purpose, his Starfire energy now fully integrated with his chakra. He visited Jump City regularly, his spirit crossing the bridge between dimensions with increasing ease. He grew closer to the Titans, becoming a true member of their team in all but physical presence. And he watched Terra bloom. With patient support from Raven and the others, she slowly learned to control her powers, to trust her friends, to believe that she was more than the destruction she could cause. It wasn't easy, there were setbacks, moments of fear, nights when she almost ran again. But each time, someone was there to catch her. To remind her she wasn't alone. You did that, Raven told Naruto during one of his visits. You reached her in a way none of us could. Because you understood. Because I've been there, Naruto corrected. Still am, sometimes. The fear doesn't really go away. You just learn to live with it. Raven nodded slowly. Maybe that's all any of us can do. Maybe. But it's easier when you're not doing it alone. Raven looked at him, and for once, there was no mask. Just a girl, carrying impossible burdens, grateful for the company. Yes, she said quietly. It is. They sat together in comfortable silence, 2 souls who understood each other without words, and watched the sun set over Jump City. It was enough. It was more than enough. It was everything. The weeks following the chunin exam's invasion settled into an uneasy peace in Konoha. Reconstruction efforts moved slowly, the scars of battle gradually fading from the village's buildings and streets. But some scars weren't so visible. Naruto saw them in the way people looked at him now, not just fear, but something new. Confusion, maybe? Uncertainty. He'd revealed power that didn't come from the fox, power that burned blue instead of red, and no one quite knew what to make of it. Tsunade had kept his secret for now. The official story was that Naruto had unlocked a latent bloodline ability, something from a distant ancestor. It was vague enough to satisfy curiosity while revealing nothing. Naruto was grateful. He wasn't ready for the whole world to know about Starfire, about Tamarin, about the twin bond that had become his lifeline. Speaking of which, Naruto. Starfire's voice burst into his mind with its usual enthusiasm. Raven wishes to speak with you. Privately. She says it is important. Naruto paused mid-bite in his ramen bowl. Raven? Wants to talk to me? Privately? Yes. She is being very mysterious about it. You know how she is. Will you come? He glanced at the clock. It was late afternoon in Konoha, which meant it was probably morning in Jump City. He had training tomorrow, but nothing that couldn't wait a few hours. Yeah, tell her I'll be there. Give me a few minutes to finish this bowl. Wonderful. I will let her know. He ate quickly, paid Tucci, and found a quiet spot behind Ichiraku's where no one would notice him meditating. Closing his eyes, he reached for the bond, for the bridge between worlds, and let himself cross over. When he opened his eyes, he was standing in Raven's room. It was the first time he'd seen it. The space was small and sparse, a bed with dark sheets, a shelf of books with titles and languages he couldn't read, a single window looking out over the bay. Candles flickered on a small desk, their flames the only source of light. And in the center of the room, cross-legged on the floor, sat Raven. You're early, she said without opening her eyes. You're welcome. Naruto grinned, settling onto the floor across from her. So, private chat. What's up? Is this about Terra? Is she okay? Terra is fine. Better than fine, actually. She's making progress. Raven opened her eyes, and Naruto was struck again by how ancient they looked in her young face. This is about something else. Something personal. Naruto waited. He'd learned that pushing Raven never worked. She opened up when she was ready, and not a moment before. I've been having dreams, she said finally. Not my usual nightmares. Different. There's a man in them. Old, with white hair and a strange tattoo on his face. He speaks to me. Tells me things. Naruto's blood ran cold. What kind of things? About you. About your world. About the fox inside you. Raven's violet eyes fixed on his. He says he knows how to separate you from it. How to remove the demon without killing you. Jiraiya. The description fit perfectly. The white hair, the tattoo, the impossible knowledge. Somehow, someway, Jiraiya was reaching across dimensions, contacting Raven in her dreams. That's my mentor, Naruto said slowly. Jiraiya. One of the legendary Sannin. He's been training me, sort of. But he's in my world. How is he reaching you? I don't know. Raven's brow furrowed. But he's been visiting my dreams for a week now. At first I thought it was my father, playing tricks. But the energy is different. This man, he's powerful, but not evil. He wants to help you. He says the fox's chakra and your starfire are merging in ways he doesn't understand. He's worried about what might happen if they fully integrate. Naruto thought about that. About the two energies inside him, swirling together like oil and water, slowly becoming something new. He'd felt it during the chunin exams, during his battle with Orochimaru, the moment when they'd combined, when he'd become something more than the sum of his parts. It had been incredible. It had also been terrifying. What does he want you to do? He wants me to teach you. Raven's lips quirked in something that might have been a smile. Meditation techniques. Emotional control. Ways to separate your consciousness from the fox's influence. He says I have experience with that sort of thing. She did. Naruto knew her story, the demon father, the constant battle to keep his influence at bay, the walls she'd built to protect herself and everyone around her. If anyone understood the struggle of carrying darkness inside, it was Raven. Would you? He asked. Teach me, I mean? Raven studied him for a long moment. It won't be easy. My methods are intense. You'll have to face things you've been hiding from. Memories you've buried. Fears you've refused to acknowledge. I know. Naruto met her gaze steadily. I've been running from a lot of things for a long time. Maybe it's time to stop. Something shifted in Raven's expression. Approval, maybe. Or just recognition, the look of one wounded soul acknowledging another. Tomorrow, she said. Same time. We'll start then. Naruto nodded. I'll be here. He crossed back to his world, but as he left, he could have sworn he saw the faintest hint of a smile on Raven's usually impassive face. The training began the next day. Raven's methods were, as promised, intense. She didn't start with gentle meditation or calming exercises. She started by tearing down his walls. Sit, she commanded, and he sat. Close your eyes. Reach inside yourself. Find the place where the fox lives. Naruto did. It wasn't hard, the fox's presence was always there, a burning weight in his gut. But as he focused on it, Raven's voice guided him deeper. Now, instead of pulling away, I want you to move closer. I want you to touch the barrier between you. Feel its surface. Understand its texture. That's crazy, Naruto muttered. I've spent my whole life trying to stay away from that thing. I know. That's the problem. Raven's voice was calm, unshakable. Fear gives it power. Avoidance gives it space to grow. If you want to control it, you have to understand it. You have to know it as well as you know yourself. Naruto hesitated. Then, slowly, he reached out with his consciousness toward the fox's cage. The seal was warm under his mental touch, humming with the fourth Hokage's chakra. Beyond it, he could feel the fox's presence, massive, angry, hungry. It stirred as he approached, and he felt its attention turn toward him. Little fox, the QB rumbled. Come to play, have you? Naruto didn't respond. He just observed. Felt the texture of the fox's rage, the shape of its hatred. It was old, so old, centuries of fury compressed into a single burning point. But beneath that, almost hidden, was something else. Loneliness. The fox had been alone for a long time too. He pulled back, gasping. Well? Raven asked. It's sad, Naruto said, surprised by his own words. Angry, yeah? Hateful, definitely. But underneath all that, it's lonely. It's been trapped for so long, and it's so lonely. Raven nodded slowly. Good. You saw past the surface. That's the first step. The first step to what? To understanding that the fox isn't just a monster. It's a being. A consciousness. And like any consciousness, it can be reasoned with. Eventually. Naruto stared at her. Reasoned with? You want me to reason with the demon that's tried to kill me my whole life? I want you to stop treating it like an enemy you have to destroy and start treating it like a force you have to live with. Raven's violet eyes were serious. I've spent my whole life fighting my father's influence. Fighting it, resisting it, building walls against it. And you know what? It's exhausting. It's endless. And it doesn't work. What does work? Acceptance. The word hung in the air between them. Not surrender. Not giving in. But acceptance. Acknowledging that this thing is part of you, whether you like it or not. And learning to work with it instead of against it. Naruto thought about that. About the fox's loneliness, hidden beneath centuries of rage. About his own loneliness, buried beneath years of loudness and pranks. Maybe they weren't so different, him and the fox. Maybe that was the point. I'll try, he said. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. Raven nodded. That's all anyone can do. The training continued for weeks. Every day, Naruto crossed to Jump City and sat with Raven in her candlelit room, learning to navigate the treacherous landscape of his own soul. He faced memories he'd buried, the villagers' hateful faces, the nights spent crying alone, the desperate hunger for acknowledgement that had driven him to pranks and loudness and reckless behavior. He faced fears he'd refused to acknowledge, the fear of losing control, of hurting his friends, of becoming the monster everyone expected him to be. And slowly, painfully, he began to heal. The fox noticed. During their sessions, Naruto could feel it watching, its attention sharp and curious. It didn't speak, didn't snarl, just observed. As if it was waiting to see what this strange little container would do next. Outside the training, Naruto's relationships with the Titans deepened. He was no longer just Starfire's mysterious brother, he was a teammate, a friend, someone they could count on. He helped Cyborg with maintenance, badly, played video games with Beast Boy, competitively, and even earned a rare nod of approval from Robin during a training session. But it was his bond with Raven that grew the most. They didn't talk much during their sessions. Raven wasn't one for small talk, but the silences between them became comfortable rather than awkward. Sometimes, after particularly intense emotional work, they would simply sit together, watching the sun set over the bay, and that was enough. You're different from the others, Raven said one evening, apropos of nothing. Naruto looked at her. Different how? You don't try to fix me. You don't try to cheer me up or distract me or make me feel better. You just sit with me. In the darkness. She glanced at him. Most people can't handle that. They need me to be lighter, brighter, easier. You don't. Naruto shrugged. Darkness doesn't scare me. I've lived in it my whole life. It's actually kind of nice, having company. Raven was quiet for a moment. Then, so softly he almost missed it. Yes. It is. The breakthrough came on a rainy Tuesday. Naruto had been struggling all day, his emotions raw and close to the surface. A mission had gone wrong in Konoha, nothing serious, just a reminder that some villagers would never accept him, no matter what he did. He'd come to Jump City hoping the distraction would help, but the feelings followed him, heavy and sharp. Raven took one look at him and nodded toward her room. Today's session will be different. Follow me. He did. They sat in their usual positions, but instead of guiding him inward, Raven reached out and took his hands. I'm going to show you something, she said. It might be uncomfortable, but I think you need to see it. Before he could ask what she meant, darkness enveloped him. He was standing in a void, not the comforting darkness of Raven's room, but something deeper, colder. And in the center of the void stood a girl. Raven. But not the Raven he knew. This Raven was younger, smaller, her eyes wide with terror. Around her, the world was burning. Naruto watched as buildings crumbled, as people screamed, as a massive figure rose from the flames, a demon with 4 red eyes and a presence that made the fox's chakra feel like a candle flame. Trigon. Raven's father. The source of all her nightmares. Please, the young Raven whispered. Please, no. Don't make me. You are mine, the demon thundered. You will always be mine. Your power is my power. Your destiny is my destiny. Fight it all you want, daughter. In the end, you will serve me. The vision shifted. Raven was older now, a teenager, standing on the edge of a cliff. Below her, the ocean crashed against rocks. Behind her, Trigon's laughter echoed. I won't become you, she said quietly. I'd rather die. She stepped forward. No! Naruto lunged, grabbing her arm, pulling her back from the edge. The vision shattered. They were back in her room, both gasping, both shaking. Raven stared at him, her eyes wide with shock. How did you? That was my memory. My private memory. You shouldn't have been able to. You were going to jump? Naruto's voice was rough. You were going to kill yourself. I was 13. I didn't understand. You were going to jump, and I stopped you. He gripped her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. Raven, listen to me. That demon, your father, everything he said, it's a lie. You're not his. You're not destined to become him. You're you. And you're one of the strongest people I've ever met. Raven's walls crumbled. For the first time since he'd known her, tears spilled down her cheeks. She tried to turn away, to hide, but Naruto wouldn't let her. He pulled her into a hug, holding her as she shook, as the sobs she'd been holding back for years finally broke free. You're not alone, he whispered. You've never been alone. You have Starfire, and Robin, and Cyborg, and Beast Boy, and Terra, and me. We're your family. And family doesn't let family jump off cliffs. Raven laughed, a wet, broken sound. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Probably. But it's true. They stayed like that for a long time, 2 broken souls holding each other together. And when Raven finally pulled back, her eyes were red but clear, her expression softer than Naruto had ever seen it. Thank you, she said quietly. For seeing me. For staying. Always, Naruto promised. That's what family does. Word of the training session spread through the tower, as things always did. By dinner, Beast Boy was making inappropriate jokes about emotional bonding time. And Cyborg was threatening to install a camera. For training purposes, obviously. But beneath the teasing, there was something else, relief. Raven had let someone in. Really in. And that changed everything. Starfire found Naruto on the roof after dinner, staring at the stars. You have done something wonderful, she said, settling beside him. Raven is lighter. Happier. I have never seen her so at peace. I didn't do anything. She did all the work. You saw her. You accepted her. Sometimes that is the greatest gift of all. Starfire leaned against his shoulder. I am so proud of you, brother. So grateful that you are in my life. Naruto smiled, wrapping an arm around her. Right back at you, sis. Right back at you. They sat together, watching the stars, and for a little while, everything was perfect. The next day, Naruto crossed back to Konoha to find a summons waiting for him. Tsunade wanted to see him. Immediately. He found her in her office, surrounded by paperwork, looking more tired than usual. Jiraiya was there too, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. "Ah, brat," the Toad Sage said. "Good timing. We need to talk." Naruto's stomach tightened. "About what?" "About the fox. About your Starfire. About the fact that they're merging faster than we anticipated." Jiraiya's expression was unusually serious. "I've been doing research, consulting old texts, even reaching out to some unconventional sources." He glanced at Tsunade. "And I've found something concerning." "What kind of concerning?" "The kind that could kill you if we're not careful." Jiraiya pushed off the wall, crossing to stand before Naruto. "Your Tamaranian heritage, the Starfire, it's not just coexisting with the fox's chakra. It's reacting to it. Changing it. And changing you in the process." Naruto thought about his training with Raven. About the moments when the two energies inside him swirled together, becoming something new. "Is that bad?" "Not necessarily. But it's unpredictable. And unpredictable, when you're dealing with a demon as powerful as the QB, is dangerous." Jiraiya's eyes met his. "We need to accelerate your training. And I need to meet this Raven of yours. The one who's been helping you." Naruto blinked. "You know about Raven?" "I know a lot of things, brat. Including how to reach across dimensions when I need to." Jiraiya grinned, but there was no humor in it. "She's got skills we need. And I've got information she needs. About her father." Naruto's blood ran cold. "What about her father?" "Tell her I know how to weaken his influence. Permanently." Jiraiya's expression softened, just slightly. "Consider it payment for helping my student." Naruto stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, he smiled. "She's going to want to meet you in person." "I figured." Jiraiya shrugged. "Can you make that happen?" Naruto thought about the bond, about the bridge between worlds, about all the things he'd learned in the past months. "I think so. It'll take a lot of energy. I'll need help." "You'll have it." Tsunade spoke for the first time, her voice firm. "Whatever you need, Naruto. Just ask." He looked at them, his Hokage, his mentor, the two most powerful people in his world, and felt something he'd rarely felt before. Supported. Protected. Loved. "I'll make it happen," he said. "For Raven. For all of us." That night, he crossed to Jump City and found Raven in her usual spot, meditating in her candlelit room. "We need to talk," he said. "About my mentor. About your father. About what comes next." Raven opened her eyes. For a moment, just a moment, he saw fear flash through them. Then it was gone, replaced by her usual calm. "Tell me." He did. About Jiraiya's offer, about the knowledge he claimed to have, about the possibility of weakening Trigun's influence permanently. When he finished, Raven was quiet for a long time. "He's lying," she said finally. "He has to be. No one can weaken my father's hold. I've tried everything." "I don't think he's lying." Naruto sat across from her, meeting her eyes. "Jiraiya's many things, pervert, gambler, terrible mentor, but he's not a liar. If he says he knows something, he knows something. And if he's wrong? Then we're no worse off than we were before." Naruto reached out, taking her hand. "But what if he's right? What if there's a way to be free? Don't you want to at least try?" Raven looked at their joined hands. At the contact she usually avoided, the touch she usually shied away from. But she didn't pull back. "Bring him," she said quietly. "I'll meet him. I'll listen." Naruto squeezed her hand. "That's all I'm asking." The next week was a blur of preparation. Naruto trained harder than ever, building his reserves, strengthening the bond between worlds. Jiraiya studied ancient texts, searching for the ritual he'd discovered years ago. And Raven prepared herself for an encounter that could change everything, or destroy her completely. When the day came, Naruto stood in the center of Raven's room, surrounded by the Titans. Starfire held his left hand, Raven his right. Cyborg had set up equipment to monitor energy levels. Robin stood ready with a first aid kit, just in case. Beast Boy had been banished to the common room for emotional support, which meant eating pizza and watching TV, but he claimed it was essential. "Ready?" Naruto asked. Raven nodded, her face pale but determined. Jiraiya's voice echoed through the bond, transmitted through Starfire's connection to Naruto's mind. "I'm ready, brat. Let's do this." Naruto closed his eyes. He reached for the bridge between worlds, for the connection that linked him to Starfire, to the Titans, to this impossible family he found. And he pulled. The world lurched. Energy blazed. And when Naruto opened his eyes, Jiraiya stood before them, solid, real, here. The Toad Sage looked around the room, taking in the Titans with an expression of amused wonder. Then his eyes settled on Raven. So, he said quietly, you're the one who's been saving my student's soul. Raven met his gaze steadily. And you're the one who claims to know how to save mine. Jiraiya smiled, and for once, there was nothing perverted or mocking about it. Just warmth. Just hope. Let's get to work, kid. We've got a demon to fight. The ritual took 3 days. Jiraiya worked with Raven in her soul's cape, the dark dimension where her father's influence was strongest. Naruto couldn't follow. His presence would disrupt the delicate work, but he felt echoes of it through the bond. Pain. Fear. And beneath it, something new. Hope. On the 3rd day, Raven emerged. She looked different. Not physically, same pale skin, same violet eyes, same dark cloak. But something fundamental had shifted. The weight she'd carried her whole life was lighter. The shadows that always clung to her were less pronounced. She moved differently, breathed differently, existed differently. It worked, she said, and her voice cracked on the words. He showed me how to build a wall my father can't cross. A wall made of light instead of darkness. He can't reach me anymore. He can't touch me anymore. The Titans surrounded her, hugging her, laughing, crying. Even Robin cracked a smile. Even Beast Boy managed to be serious for a full 30 seconds. Naruto hung back, watching, a smile on his face. This was why he'd done it. This was why he'd pushed so hard, trained so relentlessly. For moments like this. For the people he loved. Raven caught his eye across the room. She crossed to him, took his hands, and for the second time since he'd known her, she let the tears fall. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. Naruto pulled her into a hug, holding her close. You're welcome. Now go celebrate with your family. You've earned it. She laughed, and the sound was lighter than he'd ever heard it. You're my family too, idiot. I know. He grinned. Best family ever. Believe it. As the Titans celebrated, as Jiraiya made inappropriate jokes and Cyborg threatened to install more cameras and Starfire cried happy tears, Naruto stood in the center of it all and felt something he'd never felt before. Complete. He had 2 worlds now. 2 families. 2 lives. And he wouldn't trade either of them for anything. That night, long after the celebration ended, Naruto sat on the roof with Raven, watching the stars. What now? He asked. Now I live. Raven's voice was quiet but steady. Really live. For the first time. That's good. That's really good. It is. She turned to look at him. What about you? 2 worlds, 2 families, how do you balance it? Naruto thought about it. About Konoha and Jump City, about ninja missions and Titan battles, about the Fox and the Starfire and all the pieces of himself he was still learning to understand. I don't know, he admitted. I'm figuring it out as I go. But I've got help. Good help. He grinned. The best help. Raven almost smiled. You're an idiot. You're idiot. Yes. She looked away, but not before he saw the warmth in her eyes. My idiot. They sat together in comfortable silence, 2 souls who had found each other in the darkness, and watched the stars wheel overhead. It was enough. It was everything. The call came in the middle of dinner. One moment, Naruto was happily destroying a meat lover's pizza while Beast Boy loudly complained that he wasn't sharing. The next, Cyborg's console was blaring an emergency alert, and Robin was on his feet before the first siren finished. What is it? Starfire asked, her fork frozen midair. Seismic disturbances. Cyborg reported, fingers flying across his holographic interface. Massive ones. Downtown Jump City. Buildings are coming down. Terra went pale. Naruto saw it, the way her hands clenched, the way the floor beneath her feet began to crack. He was across the room in an instant, gripping her shoulders. Hey! Look at me! It's not you. You're here with us. Whatever's happening out there, it's not your fault. Terra's eyes were wild, but she focused on him, on his voice, on the solid warmth of his hands. But what if I'm doing it somehow? What if I lost control without realizing? You didn't. Raven's voice cut through the panic like a blade. She'd appeared beside them, her expression calm but her eyes glowing faintly violet. I would have felt it. This is coming from somewhere else. Someone else. Titans, move out! Robin commanded. Naruto, can you stay? Naruto checked his connection to Konoha. It was late there. He had hours before he needed to return. I'm with you. They launched into the night, a streak of color against the dark sky. Below them, Jump City was in chaos. Buildings swayed. Streets cracked open. People screamed and ran in every direction. And at the center of it all, standing in the middle of a crater that hadn't existed an hour ago, was a man. He was massive, easily 7 feet tall, with skin that looked like rough-hewn rock and eyes that glowed with orange light. As the Titans descended, he looked up and smiled, revealing teeth like broken stones. Terra, he said, and his voice was the sound of mountains grinding together. I've been looking for you. Terra made a sound like a wounded animal. She stumbled backward, and Naruto caught her, keeping her upright. Who are you? Robin demanded, his staff extended. You can call me Slade. The man's smile widened. Or you can call me Master. Either way, I'm here for the girl. She belongs with me. She doesn't belong to anyone. Naruto snapped, stepping in front of Terra. And she's not going anywhere with you. Slade's orange eyes fixed on Naruto, and something flickered in them. Interest, maybe. Curiosity. Ah. The dimensional traveler. I've heard about you. A prince of Tamarin, hiding in a ninja's body. How quaint. Naruto's blood ran cold. How did this man know about him? About Tamarin? About any of it? I don't know who you are or what you want, he said, forcing his voice steady. But you're not taking Terra. Not now, not ever. Brave words. Slade raised a hand, and the ground beneath them erupted. Let's see if you can back them up. The battle was unlike anything Naruto had experienced. Slade didn't fight like a ninja, didn't fight like any villain the Titans had faced before. He was methodical, precise, utterly without wasted movement. Every attack was calculated, every defense perfectly placed. He moved through the Titans' assault like water through rocks, never quite where they aimed, always exactly where he needed to be. And he was strong. Terrifyingly strong. Cyborg's sonic cannon barely made him stagger. Starfire's starbolts splashed against his rocky skin like water. Robin's staff connected again and again, but Slade seemed to barely notice. Beast Boy, in the form of a T-Rex, managed to knock him back a few steps, but Slade recovered instantly and sent the green dinosaur flying with a single punch. But it was Terra he was after. Throughout the battle, his orange eyes never left her. He pursued her relentlessly, ignoring the other Titans, shrugging off their attacks as if they were nothing. Terra fought back. The ground rose and fell at her command, rocks flew, chasms opened, but Slade anticipated every move, countered every attack. You're stronger than this, he called to her, dodging a boulder the size of a car. I can help you unlock your true potential. All you have to do is come with me. I'd rather die, Terra screamed, and the ground beneath Slade split open, swallowing him whole. For a moment, there was silence. The Titans gathered, breathing hard, watching the chasm for any sign of movement. Then the ground exploded, and Slade rose from the rubble, laughing. Impressive, he said. But not impressive enough. He moved faster than something his size should be able to move. One moment he was across the crater, the next he was right in front of Terra, his massive hand closing around her throat. Come quietly, he murmured, and I won't hurt your new friends. Resist, and I'll destroy them one by one while you watch. Terra's eyes filled with tears. She looked at the Titans, at Robin, bleeding from a cut on his forehead, at Cyborg, his armor sparking from multiple hits, at Starfire, her green fire dimmed with exhaustion, at Beast Boy, crumpled against a broken wall, at Raven, her face pale with effort, at Naruto, standing between her and this monster with no hesitation, no fear, just determination. Let her go, Naruto said quietly. Slade glanced at him. Or what, little prince? Naruto didn't answer with words. He answered with action. Blue starfire erupted from his body, brighter than it had ever been. He shot forward like a comet, slamming into Slade with enough force to crack the street beneath them. Slade's grip on Terra loosened, and she stumbled free, gasping. Naruto and Slade traded blows, each impact sending shockwaves through the already devastated street. Naruto was faster, but Slade was stronger. Naruto's starfire burned, but Slade's rocky skin regenerated almost instantly. They were evenly matched, and Naruto was running out of time. Naruto! Starfire's voice in his mind. You cannot defeat him alone. We must fight together. I know. He dodged a blow that would have crushed his skull. But Terra. Is fighting. Look! Naruto risked a glance and saw Terra standing with the other titans, her eyes blazing with determination. The ground beneath her feet was rising, forming a platform that lifted her above the battle. Around her, rocks and debris swirled in a growing vortex. You want me? She shouted, her voice carrying over the chaos. Come and get me! Slade turned, his orange eyes narrowing. He pushed past Naruto, ignoring the starfire that scorched his skin, and advanced on Terra. The titans moved to intercept, but he batted them aside like flies. Terra stood her ground. The vortex around her grew, spinning faster, becoming a tornado of stone and earth. She raised her hands, and the tornado surged towards Slade, enveloping him in a whirlwind of destruction. For a long moment, nothing was visible but spinning rock and dust. Then, slowly, the tornado began to slow. To stop. To collapse inward. When the dust cleared, Slade stood at the center, his rocky body cracked and broken, his orange eyes dim. He looked at Terra, really looked at her, and for the first time, there was something like respect in his expression. You're stronger than I thought, he said. This isn't over. Then he crumbled into a pile of inert rock, and was still. The Titan stood in silence, waiting for him to rise again. He didn't. Is he dead? Beast Boy asked, shifting back to human form. No. Raven's eyes glowed as she probed the remains. His consciousness is gone. He's retreated. But he'll be back. People like him always come back. Terra collapsed. Naruto caught her before she hit the ground, lowering her gently to the broken street. She was shaking, crying, murmuring apologies between sobs. I'm sorry, she kept saying. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Hey. Naruto cupped her face, forcing her to look at him. You have nothing to be sorry for. You were amazing. You saved us. I could have. But you didn't. You controlled it. You used your power to protect people instead of hurt them. That's everything, Terra. That's everything. She stared at him, tears streaming down her face. Then she threw her arms around him and held on like he was the only solid thing in a world that kept shifting beneath her feet. Naruto held her back, letting her cry, letting her shake, letting her fall apart knowing she'd be caught. The other titans gathered around, forming a protective circle, their presence a silent promise. They would keep her safe. They would help her heal. They would be her family. Always. Back at the tower, the aftermath of the battle settled into a quiet exhaustion. Cyborg ran diagnostics on his damaged systems. Robin treated his injuries with practiced efficiency. Starfire floated gently around the common room, checking on everyone. Beast Boy, uncharacteristically serious, sat close to Terra, ready to shape-shift into whatever form might comfort her. Raven found Naruto on the roof, staring at the stars. He'll be back, she said, settling beside him. Slade. He's not the kind of threat that gives up. I know. Naruto didn't look away from the sky. But Terra's stronger now. She proved that tonight. She did. Because of you. Naruto finally glanced at her. Me? I just punched a rock monster a bunch of times. She's the one who actually defeated him. You believed in her. When she didn't believe in herself, you believed enough for both of you. Raven's violet eyes were serious. That matters, Naruto. More than you know. He was quiet for a moment. Then, softly. Someone did that for me once. Believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. I'm just paying it forward. Starfire? Her, yeah? But others too. Iruka. Jiraiya. Tsunade. You. He smiled, a little sadly. I've been lucky. I've had people who saw past the monster to the person underneath. I want Terra to have that too. Raven nodded slowly. She will. We'll make sure of it. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching the stars, and Naruto thought about how far he'd come. From lonely orphan to lost prince to titan. From hating himself to learning to accept who he was. From having no one to having two families, two worlds, two lives. It was more than he'd ever dreamed possible. The next morning, Naruto woke in his own bed in Konoha, the familiar smell of his apartment surrounding him. For a moment, the contrast was jarring, from the high-tech comfort of Titan's Tower to this small, shabby space that had been his home for as long as he could remember. But it was home. It would always be home. He stretched, checked his chakra levels, low but recovering, and headed out for his morning run. The villagers still gave him wary looks, still crossed the street when they saw him coming. But there were more nods now too. More acknowledgments. Word of his role in the invasion had spread, and while fear didn't die easily, respect could grow in its place. He was almost to the training grounds when he felt it, a disturbance in the bond. Not Starfire's usual warmth, but something else. Something cold. Naruto. Her voice was tense, urgent. Something is wrong. Terra is gone. He stopped dead in the middle of the street. What do you mean, gone? She left in the night. Took nothing. Said nothing. Robin is tracking her, but… Naruto, I am afraid. What if Slade found her? What if he took her while we slept? I'm coming. He ducked into an alley, found a quiet spot, and crossed over before he could think twice. He materialized in the tower's common room to find chaos. Cyborg was at his console, pulling up every camera feed in the city. Robin was pacing, his expression dark. Starfire wrung her hands, her green eyes bright with unshed tears. Beast Boy was already in pterodactyl form, ready to launch. And Raven sat in her corner, eyes closed, reaching out with her empathy. She's not in the city, Raven said quietly. She went underground. Literally. I can feel her moving, but she's deep, too deep to pinpoint. Why would she run? Beast Boy demanded, shifting back to human. After last night, after everything, why? Because of last night. Naruto's voice was quiet, but it cut through the chaos. Everyone turned to look at him. She used her power. Really used it. And she saw what she could do, what she could become. It scared her. She saved us. Cyborg protested. She was a hero. She was also terrified. Of herself. Of her power. Of what might happen if she lost control with all of you right there. Naruto shook his head. I know that fear. I've lived with it my whole life. Sometimes running feels like the only way to keep the people you love safe. Then we find her, Robin said firmly. We remind her that she doesn't have to run. That we're not afraid of her. And if she won't listen? Starfire asked. Then we keep reminding her until she does. Finding Terra took 3 days. She'd gone deep, miles underground, moving through rock and earth like a fish through water. Cyborg's sensors couldn't reach that far. Raven's empathy could only track her in glimpses. They searched tunnels, caves, abandoned mines, anywhere she might have gone. On the 3rd day, Naruto found her. He'd separated from the others, following a hunch. Terra had talked once about a place she'd hidden as a child, a cave system in the desert outside Jump City, where she'd first discovered her powers. If she was going anywhere, it might be there. He flew low over the desert, his Starfire propulsion carrying him faster than he could run. The cave entrance was hidden beneath an overhang, nearly invisible from above. He landed, crossed inside, and followed the darkness until it opened into a cavern lit by faint bioluminescent fungi. Terra sat in the center, her back against a rock, her face buried in her knees. Go away, she said without looking up. Nope. Naruto sat down across from her, close but not touching. Not happening. I said go away? And I said nope. We're going to keep having this conversation until you get tired of it. And I've got way more stamina than you think. Terra looked up, and his heart broke at the sight of her face. She'd been crying for days, apparently. Her eyes were red and swollen, her cheeks streaked with tear tracks. You don't understand, she whispered. You can't understand. Try me. She stared at him for a long moment. Then, haltingly, the words came. When I fought Slade, when I used my power like that, it felt good. Really good. For the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of what I could do. I was proud of it. I was happy. She shuddered. And that's what scares me. What if I start to like it too much? What if I lose control because I don't want to control it? What if I become the monster everyone always thought I was?